There once was a shy cat named Marley. Marley had the softest white and brown fur and the brightest emerald green eyes. It was her first day at a new school called Brownbrook Elementary. Mom drove her to the front of the brick building, but Marley was too nervous to open the car door. Mom noticed. Mom looked at Marley and asked, "Please tell me why you're nervous." And Marley replied, "I'm scared that no one will like me. What if I can't make any friends?" Mom took Marley's hand and looked her in the eyes and said, "Don't worry, my child. As long as you're brave and be yourself, you'll have no trouble making new friends." After listening to Mom, Marley became excited to start her first day. She found the courage to open the car door and then waved goodbye as she entered her new school. When Marley walked in, she was amazed to see so many different types of animals. There were turtles, moose, geese, and many more. In her old school, she was only surrounded by other types of cats, big and small. She couldn't wait to meet everyone at lunch. Marley loved her classes. She was greeted with welcoming smiles from her teachers and enjoyed learning new things. Then, it was finally lunchtime. Marley found herself feeling nervous again as she tightly held her lunchbox in her hand. She looked around for a place to sit until she saw an empty seat under a beautiful tall tree. Marley didn't like sitting alone, but she was scared that no one would want to sit with her. So she sat down under the tree, feeling comfort in the shade from the leaves above her. Marley slowly opened her lunchbox, and to her surprise, she found a note. It read, "Don't be afraid to be brave. I love you, Mom." After reading this, Marley knew what she had to do. She gently closed her lunchbox and walked with her head held high towards a deer who was also sitting alone. Marley looked at the deer and said, "Hello, my name's Marley. Do you want to sit with me under the tree?" "Hi, I'm Darla. I'd love to sit with you," she said as she gave her a huge smile and followed Marley to the tree. Marley and Darla became fast friends as they shared stories they've heard from their family. When lunch was over, they hugged goodbye and promised to meet each other at the tree again the next day. Now every day at lunch, Marley and Darla share stories and laughter under the beautiful tall tree.
Sonny was a vampire. Sonny always felt sad. When his sisters asked him to play, he always said no. When his mother asked him if he wanted to hunt for animals, he always said no. There was one thing that made him happy though, and that was the sun. Because Sonny was a vampire, he could never go outside and feel the sun on his pale face. So, one day, Sonny asked his mother, "Can I go look into the archives?" The archives were a very sacred area that housed the family's secret history. Sonny knew that they were off limits unless he had a very good reason. His mother replied, "Why? You know the archives are off limits." "I know," Sonny replied, "but I want to do some research on her vampire history." His mother was surprised but delighted. She smiled and said, "All right, but please do not be long. Dinner is almost ready." Sonny smiled and ran up the stairs to the archives. He was going to do research, but not on his history. He wanted to see if there was a way for vampires to go into the sun. After hours of searching, he came to the conclusion that the only way a vampire could go into the sun was to turn into a bat. Sonny shivered. Turning into a bat was very difficult and usually only able to be done by elder vampires with much more knowledge than Sonny. But it was his only option. He went to his room and locked the door. He tried and tried to follow the guide he found in a book, but he had no luck. At dinner, he turned to his father and asked, "Do you know how to turn into a bat?" His father was very confused, but said, "Well, I know I was never able to, and I know it takes a lot of concentration to succeed. Most people have trouble focusing so hard that they are never able to do it. Why do you ask?" "I'm going to turn into a bat so I can go out in the sun," Sonny stated. Immediately, he heard his sisters burst into laughter. "Oh, sweetie," his mother sighed. "That is not going to happen. It's too hard and you are too young." Sonny frowned and shouted, "I can do it! I know I can!" Then Sonny felt in that moment he needed to prove to himself. So he scrunched his face and focused really, really hard on becoming a bat. And poof, he did it. His family was stunned as he flew around the dining room. His sisters began to giggle and yelled, "You did it, Sonny, you did it." His father sat open-mouthed in his chair. He could not believe it. Then Sonny remembered the sun was still out, but it was setting quickly. He flew outside as fast as he could, and he immediately felt the warmest he had ever felt. The sun on his little bat face made him feel like anything was possible. Then he heard his mother yell, "Sonny, get back in here." So Sonny flew back into the house, and all of a sudden, he was a vampire again. He looked at his sisters, and they had their faces scrunched and their eyes closed. They were trying to turn into bats too. He heard his mother's concern as she yelled at him for going outside, but he didn't care. And he had done it. And in that moment, that was the most important thing. If you set your mind to it, anything is possible.
Sandy was from a family of golden retrievers. Her fur was daffodil gold and her eyes were chocolate brown. She was active and outgoing, doing well in every sport she tried, and getting along with everyone in her class. No one had ever been mean to her until one sunny Monday morning in the middle of November. That Monday, Sandy was at the head of the line for lunch. She was standing proud and tall. She was so excited that she was practically jumping up and down. She never got to be the line leader, but that week the teacher had drawn her name. Before the teacher told her to go, however, Sandy felt a tug at her fur. "Ouch!" she cried. She turned around to see who it was and found Ollie, a border collie boy, grinning at her mischievously. "Why did you do that?" she asked. Her voice was shaky. Ollie didn't look one bit guilty. "I did it because you have ugly fur," he taunted. "Black and white is so much better than gold." He sang a song about how horrible her fur was, and he laughed when he was done. Sandy didn't think it was so funny. The teacher told her to lead them to the cafeteria before she could fight back. She did what she was told. She decided that she would sit by herself that day. Her friends came over to ask her what was wrong, but she didn't know what to say. She thought repeating his taunts and his song might make her cry. At the end of the day, as Sandy was packing her backpack at the cubby, Ollie approached her again. This time, he didn't pull her fur. He said, "Are you going to tell your mom about what I did today?" Sandy wanted to, but she was afraid he might get angry if she said yes. She shook her head and then he smirked. "Good. Don't tell anyone, okay?" Sandy returned home, and she did exactly what Ollie asked. Her mom could tell something was wrong, but she was too scared to tell her. She didn't leave her room at all when she got home, and she went to bed without eating much of the dinner her mom left for her. Day after day, Ollie tugged on her fur and sang her awful song. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday passed, but Sandy didn't like being at the front of the line so much anymore. She wished she could hide. She would give anything to be at the back of the line. On Friday, the last day she would be the line leader, Ollie followed her to the front again. As he tugged on her fur and started to sing his song, Sandy suddenly burst into tears. The teacher put her arm around her shoulders. Ollie looked like a deer in the headlights. The song was quickly hushed. The teacher led Sandy to the guidance counselor, a kind, husky woman who spoke with a soft voice and brushed her tears away with a tissue. Slowly, Sandy revealed everything that had been going on throughout the week. Once she was done, the guidance counselor picked up the phone. A moment later, Sandy's mom came to pick her up. Sandy crashed into her arms, squeezing tightly. She wiped away the rest of her tears. She thanked the guidance counselor, then led Sandy to the family car that was parked at the front of the school. Sandy's mom took her to get an ice cream cone. She got her favorite flavor, strawberry, with whipped cream and hot fudge. Slowly, as Sandy ate the ice cream and chatted with her mom, she started to feel like herself again. She was smiling and laughing, just as she had before. Sandy, her mom said as they got up to leave, "Don't ever be afraid to say it if someone is bothering you. I mean it." Sandy gave her a big hug, and she went home to watch Sandy's favorite movie. The following Monday, when Sandy returned to class, she could see that Ollie had been crying. He approached her immediately, holding a note in his hand. He thrust it in her direction, and she accepted it and folded it to read. It was the word sorry written in crayon, along with a picture of her in her favorite pink dress. Sandy looked up with confusion. Ollie hung his head in shame. "I'm sorry," he mumbled. "I didn't mean it. I was just jealous that your fur is so pretty." Sandy, with surprise, broke out into a huge smile. "It's okay," she told him. "You want to play a game with my friends during recess?" He nodded, and they walked paw in paw to their desks. Maybe Ollie wasn't so scary after all.
Micco was a wolf who loved to explore. Through the forest and over the mountains, he always wanted to see more. He traveled in a pack, which always made him feel safe. These wolves were his family, helping him in many ways. His wolf pack taught him to hunt and even how to run. He thought a day without them would surely never come. On a beautiful morning in the mountains, the sun rose and Micco woke up. He looked around him to see no wolves, no wolf fathers, no wolf mothers, not even a wolf pup. For the first time, Micco was alone, but he did not worry. His wolf pack would surely return soon. He waited and waited, but the pack never came back. It had been a few hours. By now, it was noon. Micco howled and he howled again. Would they ever return, he thought? And if so, when? Then all of a sudden, he saw his wolves in a field. He was now happy again. His loneliness had healed. He ran down the mountains, which were jagged and steep. But when he got there, they were not wolves. He'd only seen sheep. He asked the sheep to help him, but they didn't say a thing. They just kept on eating the grass that grew green in the spring. Micco passed the sheep and kept on looking. Then he came past a house with a lady in it cooking. He thought she could help him find his pack, so he barked at the door and it opened a crack. The lady screamed and quickly shut the door, leaving Micco standing there as he just sat on the floor. Why did no one care, he thought. They won't even help me. He just wanted company and did not like being lonely. Micco moved along with his head held down, no smiles to be seen, but only a frown. He came upon a lake and saw a family of fish, but this made him more sad. To him, a family was only a wish. He drank some water and went for a swim, but he just couldn't stop thinking, how could his pack leave him? It soon started to get dark and Micco began to get scared. He went on to find a patch of grass that normally he shared. But tonight, it was just Micco looking up at the stars. He wondered if his family was close, or maybe they were far. He knew they would come back. He started to get hope. Thinking of his brothers and sisters definitely helped him cope. He laid in the grass and could still hear the sheep, and in a few moments, Micco was asleep. When Micco woke up, he heard something was near. The leaves were rustling, and he started to fear. He let out a howl to try and scare it away, but out of the forest came a wolf pup who wanted to play. Many wolves followed, his mother and father too. "You found me," he said. "All along I wanted you." His family told him they had left not for long, but when they returned, Micco was gone. But it didn't matter now. Micco was back with his pack, and they never left him again. They made sure of that.
Through the flowers, the brush, and under the trees lived a very small village, from bugs to bees. In the dirt, the soil, and within the leaves lived tons and tons of families. There's just one bug you can't ignore, and I promise you, he's never a bore. His name is Lucky, a ladybug. Super sweet and tons of fun. Lucky the ladybug woke up in a frazzle, as today would be his day to dazzle. A new school full of fresh new faces. Nothing could bring him more amazement. He would show the other bugs what he's got. Lots and lots and lots of spots. Lucky flew downstairs to catch a meal, and his mother waited as she could feel so much happiness in just one bug. A smile so big, almost smug. As Lucky skipped to the door, he blew a kiss, but felt much more. New friends, new teachers, school had it all. Life was so happy he could not fall. As Lucky flew and flew and flew and flew off to school, he was brand new. He knew there was something he must do. First say hi, then introduce. Hi, my name is Lucky. I'm little and fairly new. There's not much to know about me, but there is something I must tell you. I love to fly and dance. Around the garden I prance. My little legs, they take me far. My spots, however, are a bit bizarre. I have hundreds and thousands and millions of spots. They fill me with joy, and I can't help but hop. I know I might not look like all of you, but I like you all, and you'll like me too. I grow and grow and grow. Through the trees I glow. On my first day of school I see other ladybugs just like me. The other bugs, they laughed, and Lucky felt bad. You're shrubby and spotty and odd, said a ladybug who was named Todd. You're way too much, laughed one whose spots were hidden by the sun. Now, class, let's all calm down. Lucky has just joined a new town. I'm sure you will make friends, she said, but all Lucky could do was shake his head. His sparkle, his dazzle, his fun was gone. Stolen, taken, and was almost stepped on. At lunch, Lucky found not one friend, as he was singled out by his differences. My spot's too much. I want them gone, exclaimed Lucky as he crawled sadly into a ball. Then thereafter, there was a voice, a girl, so friendly, so full of noise. Mom, oh mom, oh mom, oh mom, the young girl nearly burst out into song. Rebecca, my dear, are you all right? As the little girl's mother filled with fright. Yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Look at how this ladybug is dressed. The spots, so many, aren't they neat? The way he is, it reminds me of me. The girl, she could not have been more than 10. Her hair, red, just like a robin. Her touch was soft, gentle, and sweet, as Lucky rolled back to his feet. His eyes, they opened, and he could not believe. Spots and spots, just like me. The freckles, they covered her, head to toe. But that was not all the girl had to show. A smile as bright as the daylight sun, a laugh so contagious that Lucky loved. The girl placed him down on his toes as he found a lesson within him. All should know, not one bug, person, or thing is the same. That's what makes you special and so amazing. Lucky was now back to himself, his confidence set on the highest shelf. Maybe I may not be like the others, but that's okay and I love it. I love myself and who I am. Myself is what matters, not others' opinions.
Blue is an ordinary boy, whose heart is tall, whose life is short. Each day he gives his love away to all, for all he loves, and to all love him. Blue the nice boy, they say, the one who brings us joy. Blue begins his day with a bang. He explodes from the bed at 6 in the morn, cooking eggs and corn. The meal is not for him, but for others only. His brothers eat their delicious meal, praising their beloved Blue. "Thank you, Blue. We love you too," they say, smiling back. Blue smiles back. The satisfying sensation of making smiles is enough to make a grown boy grin. However, it is the day's dawn, so Blue must hurry and mow the lawn. He hops on his mower and quickly shaves the grass. His fantastic field glows like glass. Beautiful. "Good gracious, what a beautiful backyard you've made, Blue. I'm so proud." "Thank you, Father," he says happily. "I aim to impress." His dad gives him a big hug, then goes off to work. Blue, too, must go to work. He cleans his dishes, feeds his fishes, walks the pug, vacuums the rug, looks his best, and studies for his test, all at the same time. At the end, he is absolutely, incredibly, extremely exhausted. He hears his mom yell to him, "Blue, 1 minute until we go to school," she exclaims. Perfect, Blue thinks to himself. 1 minute of free time. He runs to his room and takes out a secret canvas. It is painted, depicting a wide landscape filled with bold color. He admires his masterpiece. Its color fills the boy's eyes with wonder, but he was interrupted by his mother's yelling. "Blue, we need to go now. We cannot be late." There's no time to wait. He quickly hides his painting and goes. The car ride to school is long and cold and silent until, "Blue, did you finish everything you need to finish? Your schoolwork, your classwork, your homework, your housework, your yard work?" "Yes, all of it. Yesterday, I did my mathematics, kinematics, and schematics work. None were too problematic. I studied for my sciences, fixed appliances, and managed our finances. I did the taxes, sharpened axes, and made stacks of tacks, wax, and pyrax. Today, I cleaned the dishes, fed the fishes, and walked the pup." "Okay, I understand," interrupts his mother. "Excellent, Blue. You are perfect. Always remember to work hard, never stop working, and never give up. In the midst of failure, you will find success. That is the only way to succeed in this world." Their car nears the school entrance. The mother gives her kin each a kiss and sends them on their way. His class starts soon. However, he has to hold the heavy door for 100 classmates. They each walk by smiling, wishing Blue a good morning. Blue smiles back. Once everyone is inside, Blue quickly runs to class. He arrives, tired and late. He is scolded by his teacher, Mrs. Red. "Blue, you are late again. You need to be more responsible. Anyway, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and now I'm feeling dread. Do you think you can teach the class today for poor Mrs. Red?" "Yes, of course, I'd love to," Blue obliged. Blue teaches the class about Newton's laws, panda paws, bird caws, and basketballs. By the end of his lesson, his classmates are excellent basketeers, dunking and dribbling, shooting and slamming stupendously. The school day has come to an end. Blue comes home a sad and tired boy. It is already time for bed. His mother comes to his room to wish him good night, but finds him weeping. "Blue, what's wrong? Why are you crying?" Blue responds in a snuffly voice. "I'm so sad. I feel like I have no time for myself anymore. I don't want to work all day. I want to become an artist. I want to paint the school halls and the city walls. I want to paint the world." "Do you need help?" asked his mother. "No, I can do it myself. I'm a grown boy now. I don't need help anymore." His mother sighed. "Blue, you can't expect to do everything on your own. Everyone needs help, even me. You help others too much. It's about time you start asking for it. Here, let me help you. Let us paint together." Blue reluctantly agreed. The two painted together all night. They created beautiful, abstract pictures, twisting and turning, exploding with color. Blue was proud of his creations. It was getting late, so Blue's mother kissed him goodnight and turned off the light. Blue suddenly awakes. It is 7 in the morn. He slept in late. Who is going to make the eggs and the corn? Who will mow the lawn? Who will wash the dishes, feed the fishes, walk the pug, or clean the rug? He quickly rushes downstairs, but to his surprise, the eggs and corn are already made. The dishes look clean, the rug looks clean, the pug and fish look satiated. He can even see his father out back, cutting the grass. He looks to his mother with a confused look. "Don't worry, Blue," she says. "We will help you." Blue is overjoyed. He gobbles down his breakfast and heads off to school. Upon arriving, Blue's mother kisses him goodbye and sends him on his way to victory. He decided he'd like to make it to class on time, so he holds the door for himself and his siblings and gets there early. "Wow, you're here early finally, says Mrs. Red. That makes me glad because I hit my toe on my granddad's launch pad and it hurts really bad. Do you think you could cover for me today? Mrs. Red, you can't expect me to do your job for you, said Blue. Nevertheless, you are a wonderful teacher. You'd do a much better job than I. Why, thank you, Blue. My toe does hurt badly, but I suppose I can go on teaching. Green walks into the classroom and right up to Blue. Blue, thank gosh you were here on time. I need your help. I forgot to study for the science test. Can you help me? Asked Green. No, not today, said Blue. Green looked confused. What? Why not? Green, I need help this time. I want to bring color and beauty to the world. I want to show the school my passion for art. I want to get everyone together so we can paint the school walls with one another, exclaimed Blue. Blue, of course I will help you. You are so kind to everyone. We come to you for help, for advice, for knowledge. We all love you. Of course I will help you, and I'm sure the others will too. Thank you, my friend. If you help me, I will help you, said Blue. The two agreed. Blue studied with Green and helped him pass the science test. In return, Green got all of his friends together, including his girlfriend Pink and even Mrs. Red. They all grabbed their paintbrushes and filled the halls with color. Each student expressed their minds and philosophies in their paintings, creating amazing, beautiful depictions. They decorated the walls all day until there wasn't a spot of blandness to be seen. Everyone learned about their artistic side that day, especially Blue. That was undoubtedly the best day of his little life.
It was beginning to get dark outside when Daniel the dog decided to take a walk. He knew his mom wouldn't want him to do that, so he snuck out. He sneakily opened the dog door and walked off into the night. As he was walking through his neighborhood, an older dog that he had never spoken to went up to him and said, "Why, hello there, what are you doing out so late?" Daniel, knowing that he wasn't supposed to talk to strangers, started running away in a full sprint. He ended up in the woods behind his neighborhood. Daniel realized that he had no idea which way home was. He saw that there was a family of raccoons to his right throwing a party. As he was deciding whether or not to walk over and ask for directions, a raccoon his age called over to him. "Hey Daniel, what are you doing out here so late?" Daniel realized this was Robbie the raccoon from his school. "I was going for a walk, but I got lost. Could you show me how to get back home?" asked Daniel. Robbie pointed in a direction and said, "Just a few minutes that way and you'll see your neighborhood." Daniel thanked Robbie and went in his way. Daniel walking down that direction that Robbie pointed him in for 30 minutes before he realized that he may have been pointed in the wrong direction. He was so tired, he sat down to start crying that he just wanted his mom. He decided he was lost and that he'd never make it back home. He'd never see his mom or family ever again. He then heard a bird call down to him. "What's wrong, Daniel?" she asked. I'm lost and I can't find my home." Brenda the bird suddenly flew off and chirped, "Follow me." Daniel jumped up and took off, following the little bird. He followed him for at least 30 minutes before Brenda stopped and said, "Actually, I think I went the wrong way. This is not the direction of your neighborhood." Defeated yet again, Daniel laid down in a pile of leaves and wept. He felt as if this was a complete nightmare. He just wanted his mother. He said out loud, "Please, I just want to be home. I miss my mom and my bed. I will never do anything like sneaking out again." Daniel got up and decided he must find a way home himself. He decided to use his great sense of smell to find his trail back to his house. He began following the trail and made his way back to the family of raccoons. He said hello and found his scent back to the neighborhood. Once he arrived back at his house, he re-entered through a doggy door. Much to his behest, his mother was waiting for him. His mom said, "Daniel, what were you thinking sneaking out all night? You have school in 2 hours. You best get to bed and go to sleep, young man." Daniel headed to his room and went to sleep.
Charlie lived on a farm with lots of land. He loved his farm. He had every animal of every kind, from pigs to horses, and loved them all. His farm was the only farm as far as the eye could see, and sometimes Charlie felt as if he was the only and most special Charlie in the world. Charlie loved to explore the farm. He would often imagine that he was a grand king and the animals his noble subjects. The animals loved Charlie and always listened to him. One day, King Charlie and his subjects were on an epic adventure to the mysterious kingdom next door. However, this adventure was unlike any other. Charlie and his noble subjects saw a bright blue van pull into the kingdom next door. Charlie and his noble subjects hid in the brush, planning what to do next. Lord Horatio, the horse, and the other animals were scared. They had never seen anyone at this mysterious kingdom before. King Charlie stood tall and brave. He knew as a king he must be brave for all of his noble subjects, even though he was scared himself. Before King Charlie could do anything, he saw a family get out of the van. 2 grown-ups left the van. King Charlie kept watching. A few seconds went by, and a little boy jumped out. All the other noble subjects were still scared, not knowing what to expect. Although King Charlie and all of his honorable subjects were still scared, King Charlie also became curious. Even so, he led his subjects away from the kingdom next door, continuing their adventure. Throughout the entire adventure, King Charlie could not stop thinking about the kingdom next door. He wanted to go there, he wanted to meet their king, but he thought to himself, what if he's a mean king? Or what if he doesn't like me? Or what if he doesn't want to play with me? King Charlie was upset. He didn't know what to do. He asked Lord Horatio what he should do. He responded, "We should attack and conquer the kingdom next door." He asked Countess Caroline, the chicken. "We should all bury our heads in the ground and hide," she responded. While both of their options sounded good, he still couldn't figure out what to do. King Charlie was stumped. A few minutes passed, and King Charlie's curiosity only grew. Eventually, King Charlie had enough of thinking about what if this happened, or what if that happened, and decided to go up and meet the terrifying new king next door. Just then, Charlie saw him playing with his football in the backyard. As he got closer, he noticed that the scary king next door wasn't really all that terrifying at all. He was kind and friendly, and even asked Charlie if he wanted to play with him. As it turned out, he wanted to join Charlie on an adventure.